Oh, good evening and welcome to the Fatback 4 for this Sunday night. I think it's around the 30th of January at this stage. The year's flying in, it'll be Christmas before we know it. No football at the moment. The transfer window closes out, I think it's 11 p.m. tomorrow night. And Liverpool have done something really nice for the fans in signing and confirming Luis Diaz as a Liverpool player on a 5.5-year deal from Porto. All that was released today on their social media, and we're going to have a big chat about him. We're going to have a big chat about Carvalho of Fulham, maybe a couple of outgoings at Liverpool. We're definitely going to have a look around the Premier League as to who's going to go for who, and will panic set in. And we're going to have a lovely time doing it. Keith is Warriors Columbia top. I'm on the cans. I presume Kev is as well. He's just hiding them. Seany, his body's a fucking temple, so don't even go there. Seany, Keith, and Kev with me. Loads and loads of people watching. So what's our first target? 100 likes. We're at 83. So when we get to that, we'll see where we go from there. Seany, I'm going to come to you first. Targeting 100 likes, but we passed 12k, which took us about a year and a half to do from 11k, I think. But we got there in the end. Flying we are, Seany.
Always. Best out there. About 63 shows a week.
A week.
No hyperbole. No pretending, no we're all just four lads having the chat. And the best thing is, Gav, the people in there seem to enjoy it. And that's the main thing. So we're building sort of a community. There's names that have been there since Periscope, and it seems to be growing every week. And the best thing about it is they're all good eggs. You know what I mean? You look in the chat and there's no animosity. There's nobody looking for bites. Everybody seems to get along. So, delighted to be part of this. And I think we'll continue to grow. Once we're honest with each other, we'll continue to grow. And
once we show up and they show up, we're grand.
Exactly.
Good stuff. Reclaimer, who is the head of likes, he's the official head of likes on this channel now, because he does it every day of the week. He wants 1,000 likes in this show. I don't think you get that.
Optimism.
But, we're on 148, so let's see if we can get to 2, and then we go from there. Keith, Colombia jersey on. You are never going to wear anything else. If that was in the wash, you were going to come naked, is the word. But how nice has it been over the last 24, 36, 48 hours with all the Luis Diaz stuff going on?
It's been great. Look, it's been brilliant. Me and Kev done a transfer show only on Thursday or Wednesday night, and I jokingly said to Kev, "Are Liverpool going to do any business?" No. Okay, we move on, because we genuinely didn't think anything would have happened with Liverpool, but we're going to come on to Liverpool's transfer business as the show goes on. But it's a statement. It's a statement of intent. It's something that maybe a lot of us didn't see coming, certainly didn't see coming. And it's a very pleasant surprise. The player himself is an excellent player. And by signing Luis Diaz, what we've done is we've added, I won't say proven quality, but we've added a threat to a front line that already posed a threat. And we've added a threat that doesn't need to hit the ground running and can be part of a group. And everything about it to me just seems perfect. The type of player he is, the style that we have, it's just screaming out success. And that's why, like, if you look on social media pages and that, you'll see teams, when they sign a player, they start proclaiming how brilliant this player is, even though he hasn't done that yet. And we're seeing it with the likes of, Spurs are signing Kozlowski off Juventus. I'll guarantee it, a lot of them haven't seen him playing, but it's that excitement of getting a new player in. Liverpool, I can genuinely say, I think this one's going to be a success. Now, whether it's an immediate success or it's a success in a year, this one is going to be a success, because the style of player, the gradual progression of the player throughout his career is all on an upward trajectory, and it's all pointing in one way, and it's pointing for success for Liverpool, and very exciting. I said previously, Rafinha over Luis Diaz. I openly said that, but this is the smart one. This is the price that you're getting him for, the player that you're getting, the needs of the team. I just think it's success route all over.
Kev, I'm going to get on to Seany in a minute about the timeline and all this, but there's a lot of excitement going on around this signing, the way it's happened, and as I said, we'll talk about that in a minute. But for you, like, to do something in January, when we're only talking during the week about how fit our actual squad is going into Cardiff.
Yeah, that's right.
It's another boost, isn't it? We don't know where it's going to take us, but it's another boost.
I mean, look, it's the cherry on the icing on the cake. It's the cream on the cherry and the icing on the cake. Because when we were chatting to Keith the other night, and he asked me that, I said no, and I said, look, by the time the Cardiff game comes around, and everyone comes back, the squad is virtually fully fit. There's no one out long term, and Klopp has options. I was happy. If we'd done nothing going into the second half of the season, I was happy. But the fact that Klopp has come out and said, look, the opportunity came up. Spurs, look, there's no doubt about it that the interest from Spurs triggered this move. And he's one glaring stat that came out when I was looking at him. For the Champions League, you know they do those sprint stats? He's 2 kilometers an hour faster than any one of our forwards. That includes Mo and Sadio.
I don't think he looks that fast.
He's very quick with the ball. With the ball at his feet, he's very quick. He's elusive, and when he was at Porto, he wasn't afraid to try stuff. Now, I'm not expecting anything for the next few months. We all know how Klopp works, and we know how he likes to integrate these players. And the fact that you've got 4 forwards to pick for 3 spots, plus him, there's no pressure on him to do it now. It's not like when we signed Virgil. Chris was saying on Friday night, it's not like when we signed Virgil that he came in on day one, right, fixed the back 4. And it had to work. And it had to work on day one. This kid has got a luxury that he was targeted for the summer. He was a summer signing, brought forward, but now he's got a bedding in period. You've almost got your probationary period before the real business starts next summer. And it's just going to bode well. The fact that he's 25, the contract's till 2027, the price, the wages, the ease at which the deal was done, the fact that the player rejected other clubs to come, and the Colombian journalists are saying he's the best player to come out of Colombia ever. And when you're looking at the likes of Radamel Falcao, in his pomp, in my opinion, was one of the top 3 centre forwards of his generation. That's some statement. So
I won't have any of that slander against Carlos Valderrama. But
he had the best hair. He had the best hair, but that was a different era, let's be fair.
The funny thing about Valderrama is how key he actually is to his career.
Yeah.
I off the ball did a brilliant piece on him the other day, and to be honest with you, if he was signing for United or Chelsea or Man City, after listening to that, I probably would have been rooting for him. Well, the fella who was playing high level football as a kid in Colombia with no boots. Yeah. He's from an indigenous tribe where you've less than 0% chance of making it. Like, you know what I mean? So it's a huge, like, people saying it's a statement sign. I don't think it is. What I think it is, it's a Liverpool sign, and that's what will frighten everybody else.
Yeah,
because we seem to get these ones right. Like I seen a chart earlier.
This one feels a bit different though, Seany. And I want to read out the super chat because we're on with the EU, right? Marcus Barnes says, I wonder how many pair of boxers Seany went through when he heard the Diaz news. He's been raving about him for a while. Now, there's mixed things on this, Seany, because you said to me the other day when it was more or less confirmed, you said, I might need to eat a bit of humble pie here. Because you were of the opinion, look, they won't do anything. They'll keep it. They'll keep it for the summer and stuff like that. But first of all, Seany, like, I think it feels a bit different because Salah was like, didn't do it in the Premier League. Mane was like, he's coming from Southampton. This fella seems to be raved about, and we've done a deal at this price. That's the first thing. And second of all, like, Seany, they were just clinical. They didn't wait and go, let's see if Spurs, if it doesn't happen at Spurs and we get him in the summer. They were clinical, they looked at it, they went in and they done the deal. There's no messing about. Are you hoping that's a sign of things to come? I've lashed you with questions there, sorry.
No, like, the thing for me, right, in like windows gone by, we've seen 2 things. We don't hesitate in going for a second choice. We passed up on Jamal Lewis because Norwich wanted too much. Werner fucked himself over asking for too much money. We just moved on and we got Jota. And then you had Virgil all the way back when we were prepared to wait. And then you had Kanate last January who again, and I'll give Keith his flowers because he was the one saying, I think we want Canate last January, and we waited and we got him. But this is the other side of the coin. They wanted him, and the big takeaway from today was Klopp said in that interview he was the player we really wanted, and they were willing to step up, and it makes me believe more that we were bidding 75 and 80 million for Chiesa last summer, because it made me realise the fucking money is there, and they are serious about this, and when they have a player in their mind, they are gonna go and get him, and they'll do whatever it takes. And Liverpool, like I think it always comes out when Swiss Ramble does up his numbers. We pay out a lot of money to agents. That's paying dividends now, because whoever his agent is felt some sort of loyalty to Liverpool to say, look, listen, Spurs are in here and they're serious, and Porto need the money and they're gonna take it, and the player's not totally against it, and he does want to move to Liverpool, and Liverpool went in there. So Spurs done all the heavy lifting for us, and we go in and take him. Like, we put the big pants on and got the fucking deal done, and that's what you love to see, and that's what makes so many other teams envious of Liverpool and how they operate. Now, I don't know who to give credit for the deal, and I don't really care, because these lads are paid to do this a lot of money, whether it was Julia Ward or Michael Edwards. They're fucking good at their jobs, and it just, for me, Gav, that was sort of a sign going, look, we are serious here, and you need to believe us, because I think a lot of people had, for me included, had begun to grow frustrated with maybe how FSG's approach was, and that's why I'm saying I'm gonna eat a humble pie, because I was completely wrong. And in hindsight, which is always 2020, they have a fucking plan. They have a plan. And look at Klopp. He knew. They knew. And that's all that matters. And the player's there, and he's ours now. And as terms of me going on about him for a while, to be honest with you, I only kind of started paying any real mind to him at the Copa America this year. He was lighting the place up. He drags Colombia through. I don't think he's played a tournament. I think Messi gets it, but I think there was a bit of
he won an award for I don't know what it was called, but basically the sensation of the tournament. He actually did get an award for the surprise package. He was the top scorer.
He was in the team of the tournament that many felt he should have been player of the tournament, and he was brilliant. And then Gav, I was at the game, the Porto game.
Sorry. Super chat from Sean has heard Linda's facelift is being moved to the summer.
Linda doesn't need a facelift. She's big.
Shame on you, Sean.
Sorry, can I just stop you there, because there's a couple of comments in there with regards to a situation that came to light today with regards to a Premier League player. All right. First of all, we won't be discussing that in any way, shape, or form. And if you can refrain from talking about it in the chat, please do. Because it's not the place to do it. It's not the time to do it. And we're 100% not going to talk about it. So if you can kind of leave off in the chat, leave it off. Just that's all I'm going to say on it. Sorry, Shawnee, continue.
And Gav, I was at the Porto game, and I had a look at it the other day, because I do remember I left that ground and I turned around and I said, what was the message I put in the group? I forwarded it back in the other day. I said, lads, imagine your man Luis Diaz in their team. And a few of the lads were going, I don't know. I says, I'm telling you now, he is not going to be there long, because he's different fucking gravy. And he wasn't even that good that night, but everything was going through them. He was that catalyst. Our players were bouncing off them, even though it was only, I think it was Nico Williams on him that night. Our players, Mo bounced off him at one stage on the halfway line. Everything was going through him, and I was thinking, Jesus Christ, he looks the part. Imagine him in our team. And it's really, really exciting, because he's a bit different to, like, he has that goal threat, but he has that bit of Angel Di Maria about him, that bit of the flair, the unpredictability. And I think that's kind of what we're missing, because our front three have become predictable at times. We throw Jota in down now, so we've effectively got a 5-piece now up front. And I was just thinking the other day, imagine the messing him and Bobby are going to be doing in training. Imagine the messing Bobby are going to be doing 2-3-0 up in games, because that's the type of player he is. He's flair. He's going to be getting people up off the seats, and most importantly, he puts the fucking ball in the net. I think it's huge for us. And look, who doesn't love a South American at Liverpool? They've famously done well at this club. and are famously adored and held in high regard. So I don't see it changing with him. And he seems like the right type of character as well. His message to the fans and to the club of Porto, it just speaks volumes, Gav. And we get these right more than we get them wrong. And that can't be said for the others, because look at all the marquee signings around Premier League now. Grealish, Sancho, Lukaku, Havertz, Werner. All of these players, not many of them walk out. We seem to be getting this right. And that will put the shits up a lot of people with the business that we just did. And
go on.
And then what we're looking to probably do tomorrow as well. So it goes to show you now that Klopp 2.0 is in full swing, and we have a leg up now when we needed it. Because let's be honest, you didn't want to be doing all this come May, June and July.
But that's a key point, because it now means we can go in. If we do the one we're going to come on to as well in a while, that means we can literally put our focus into the midfield in the summer. Do you know what I mean? Not that we fixed our forward line, there wasn't wrong with our forward line. We've brought in additions into the team at an age that's good. Like you touched on it there, Seany, that them sort of transfers we get right, that 23 to 25 years old, that 30 to 40 million range, we tend to hit with them. Do you know what I mean? That's their sweet spot. They're the ones that we tend to do, and we tend to do well. This is the start of the rebuild, for want of a better word. And when you look at the age profile, we do have players that are old. Not old, sorry. Milner is the senior servant, but then the likes of Henderson and all is getting up there. We're bringing in young players all the time. Now, they might not be the ones that everyone, Harvey Elliott, Cade Gordon, Fabio Carvalho, if that one comes through. They're young guys there, but they're very highly rated. And in 2 or 3 years, you're hoping with the likes of Curtis Jones, with the likes of Trent Alexander-Arnold, that we're going to have players in the team that aren't costing us a lot of money. We're going to fill our team with players that are not costing 60 million. You look at Man City, I heard a stat on, I think it was the Anfield Wrap the other day, and all transfers between 50 and 60 million, Man City have made 37% of them in the world. Do you know what I mean? Like, their squad is filled with that range of player. We're looking to do it different, and Sean, you touched on something there that he doubted that FSG had the wherewithal and the planning to do this, and this shows that they have. This shows that when we said about Konate last season, if someone had a bid for Konate in January and Leipzig were open to sell, I think we'd have dived in and bought Konate then, because when we want the player, we'll pull the trigger. Klopp has always said that he doesn't want to wait for his second choice. And look, down the years, we know Mo wasn't the first choice. It was advised to him. But now, if it's a big player that Klopp wants, he'll get him. People will throw Timo Werner in. Oh, Klopp wanted Timo Werner. I'm sure he did want Timo Werner on paper to add to a front line, but he's happy with Jota, with who he got, because he's taken the advice of Pep Linders, of Victor Matos, all these guys coming from Portugal, and you'll see the more and more links we're getting with Portugal's league and Portuguese players. It's only going to get stronger, and that's the way we're going to start moving. We're going to look, I think, at more of those players, like 37 million?
37 million rising to, well,
37
million
pounds. 12, they're saying.
Yeah, 12.5 in achievable add-ons and another 5 in exceptional add-ons.
Yeah.
God willing, he hits them all.
Exactly. Happy to pay out. Always happy to pay out on add-ons.
If he hits them all, Liverpool are doing something right. And that 12.5 million is dwarfed by whatever we're doing. The whole thing around Spurs, and it's a bit strange because Liverpool do act on this. They act on it and they go, right, Spurs are making a bid. But there must have been something in place where I think Porto, when the money came in, I'm not too sure if Luis Diaz is saying, I want to go to England, I want to go to Spurs. But I think what's happening is I think they're looking at it and they're saying to themselves, I think Porto need that money. And I think they need it now.
They did.
And I think that's the biggest factor in it. Because if they didn't, they would be able to say to Spurs, even if they're talking to Liverpool in the background, Liverpool are going, listen, we'll give you 50 in the summer. There's no problem there. Stay where he is, we give you 50 in the summer. But I think something's happened there where they go, we need that 35. We need it now. We need it on the balance on the balance sheets.
But did Liverpool give 8 million straight down?
Yeah. Apparently what happened what happened was they were on the verge of being thrown out of Europe for the next 3 years if they didn't pay. I think 6.8 million euro had to be paid
today.
by by the end of the month.
Okay.
And if they didn't, then they would have. That's why Liverpool paid it. It's almost like a down payment to get the. Otherwise, Porto would have been out of Europe for the next 3 years.
But
and that would have crippled them.
I think it's actually worked well for Liverpool because with Spurs going in there and making that bid and Porto needing it, Liverpool have obviously been clearly told, listen, this player you're in for, Spurs have a bid in here. We need the money. So we can't wait until the summer. Will you do it now? And Liverpool went, yeah, we'll do it now then. Okay, no problem. And Diaz picks Liverpool over Spurs. Now there's talk of Daniel Levy putting in a complaint about how it was done.
Hilarious.
When Daniel Levy is making bids for fucking players at Porto, anyone can make bids. It's not like it's not like when you go to book something online and you get 5 minutes where it's your booking until before you let it go. It's not how it works. You know, the sort of way. And like all this talk of Spurs is fucking madness. And they're chasing, they're running around like a dog with two Mickeys at the minute. But
they all are, Gav.
No, they all are. But I want to ask you this, all right? And I'll put it to you. I've said for ages that the next signing at Liverpool in a forward position needs to be a banger, right?
Yeah.
Because when we look at it here, we're saying to ourselves, Firmino, Salah, Mane, Jota, right? And then you're saying Minamino, Origi, but they're really being used quite clearly in emergency or when we have to do it, extreme rotation. Whereas, and I kept saying, if we get one in to replace one of those two, it ups the levels massively, right? But also you have to look for the future because you have to look at Mane, you have to look at Firmino, and possibly Salah if the deal doesn't get signed. Somebody that's going to take themselves on over the next 6 to 12 months and go, I have to be in this team. And if one of them leaves, I'm 100% in this team and I'm absolutely able to do it. And it looks like Liverpool have done that because he comes with a really good goals and assist record. He has all the tools, I suppose, to be a really good Liverpool player. They didn't mess about, Keith. They didn't go in somewhere for 15 million and just fill another number. They've gone in, they've spent significant money, probably a cut price deal, to be honest with you. But they have a fella that's absolutely raved about in Portugal and like Kev said earlier, straight out of Colombia.
Yeah, I mean, again, I think it's all about the trajectory that the player is on. So Luis Diaz, Sean, you said he was playing indigenous football. He gets seen by the local club Barranquilla. He plays for them. He does well. Junior, the Colombian team, take him on. He's doing well for them. He's getting goals for them. Playing out left side, cuts in on the right foot all the time. At Porto, take a punt on him. He's only there 2.5 years at Porto, I think. Yeah, it is 2.5 years. Yeah. And year on year, it's progressing. This year, he's got like 14 goals in 18 games or something. You know, he's really stepping up, and we're getting a player that's ready for that next step. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's not like you're just getting, he's not stagnating. Every step of his career is the next step, the next step, the next step up. And that's what we're looking at with this fella. It's a statement in that, I know we said, like, maybe not a statement, but you're buying that player. Look, I hope Taki Minamino, I wanted him to do well at Liverpool. If he stays with Liverpool, I still want him to do well. But he was a risky signing, 7.5 million. It was one that you'd say, right, it was worth the risk. But you're right, we're playing with him and Origi. They're there and they're not trusted. You know, they're part of a front line and they're maybe not trusted. And now we go to a situation where we've got 5 players that, you know, I would say are elite forwards. You know, judge Luis Diaz on his time at Porto in the Champions League for Colombia, and you're looking at an elite forward to add to an already elite forward line. And it puts pressure on Mane, it puts pressure on Firmino, not just in the team, not just on the pitch, but in their contract negotiations as well, because you've also got a situation now where we all know Salah has all the leverage for his negotiations, so we'll put him to one side. We're hoping for the best with that. But the other two were in maybe a bit of a, not a trickier situation, but I don't think the urge will be as there to sign them up as readily. And I think now, if Liverpool look at it and say, look, Bobby, we've brought in Jota now, and you know, not that you're not as important as you were, but you're not a part of the front three anymore. And now to Mane, you can say, look, there's a fella here who's breathing down your neck as well.
But that's it, Keith. It's not
We
a case
need
of
that.
It's not a case of listen, Bobby, Jota's deadly. You're not in the front three anymore. It's a case of lining these 5 lads up and saying to traditional front three, as we would call them, Jota and Luis Diaz, and going, there's 3 spots on this side. I don't care who you fucking are, but yous are all 5 yous are brilliant, and there's 3 spots. Whoever wants them, go and take them. If you don't want them, we've loads of quality around you. Rather than, with all due respect, like, I think Minamino's done okay as this 5th kind of number 5 striker this season. I think he's done more than okay. But instead of us looking come the weekend going, Minamino will play against Cardiff, and you kind of have a bit of doubt. If you're telling me that, you know, Firmino and Mane won't play, but I'm going to put in Jota and Luis Diaz, it's a completely different scenario, like, you know. 14 goals and 4 assists for Diaz this season so far, says Jus. Joe Linton's right-hand man is in the group. Lovely. I love when Newcastle fans come up. Diaz is the solid replacement because owners know Newcastle are coming in with a massive bid of 120 million quid in the morning. If they turn up with 120 million quid, I don't know what part of salad they're looking to get for that, but let us know. But
sure, Man United are looking for 12 million off Newcastle to loan them.
That was one
Jesse
of the
Lingard,
strangest things.
He was out of
They
contract in the
wanted
summer.
him.
They want a bonus if he keeps him in the Bleeding League.
They wanted him to pay all his wages. They wanted something like X amount a million per month, and then they'd pay more if they stayed up for a loan.
Yeah.
For
Would have worked out about $1 million a game or something.
It was
like that.
absolutely brilliant.
Well,
Joe Linton says,
look,
"Come on, Man City." Okay, we've lost you now.
You're seeing a pattern there now with clubs that are dealing with Man City, especially top clubs. They're not going to help them, and why should they? You know,
with Newcastle.
Why should any of the top clubs look to help Newcastle, especially the ones in England? Because if they go down, that's a year's grace that the likes of United and City and everyone else have, who are going to be trying to sign the type of players that Newcastle are going to be looking at in the summer. And Newcastle will blow those clubs out, all of us, out of the water with the fees they're willing to pay in the summertime. You know, Bruno Guimaraes that they signed today, 40 million. There, bang, go. You know, absolute quality player. They've got some muck as well, but even when they turn around and sign Woods, they didn't even blink an eyelid paying out his contract at 25 million. He needs a donkey. You know, so
I think that was more for Ham only, wasn't it, than anything else?
Yeah, but I think what Newcastle are trying to do is Newcastle, I think, are going about it the right way. They're picking up players that we all know are quality, like that guy from
Dan Bourne as well.
Guimaraes, but that guy, Guimaraes. Yeah, but Guimaraes in particular, Shawnee, I know you were saying during the week you really rate him, right? But that's one way you go, he's one way you definitely want him regardless. Whereas the likes of Lingard, they're trying to be clever. Instead of putting 7 players in at massive money, I think they're trying to bring in 3 or 4 that they know they'll keep there, like Trippier or whatever it might be, right? And Chris Wood can be got rid of if they need to. But what I'm saying is they're trying to be clever with the likes of a Lingard deal where you go, he's good quality, he'll keep us up. But if we get him at the right price, he can go back to United and they can do business. But other clubs are looking going, well, hold on, you want us to loan him to you so you can stay up and then compete against us next season. So this is our price. So the loan's going to cost you 20 million quid. You know, so Newcastle are trying to be clever. Well, Newcastle are trying to be clever in the way they're doing it, but they're going to be hampered now.
Tomorrow.
Oh, yeah.
You'll know tomorrow at 11 o'clock.
Yeah.
How they're going about it. If they take the risk and don't do any more business, or if they start pressing panic buttons all over the shop, then there'll be red lights, red flags all over the place there.
Yeah, but
I think there's probably more to come in at Newcastle, I think.
Yeah, I think
they probably will, and I don't think it'll be Lingard. I don't think it will be Lingard. I could see him going back to West Ham if he goes anywhere. The thing is,
I can't understand how they haven't looked for quality. Like, I know they've looked for quality defenders in Diego Carlos and stuff like that. But
they look for Botman as well.
I can't believe they haven't signed someone like that. Like they have St. Maximin, right? Chris Wood is a Premier League striker, right? Fine. They have him. They have good forward players, and they've added a midfield by the looks of it. But I can't understand how they haven't gone out and gone, listen, we need a fucking brilliant centre half here. You know, let's build it all on that. And they still seem to be messing around less than 24 hours to go, and we still don't know if Newcastle have a centre half. But anyway, we'll talk about that in a little bit.
They've got Dan Bourne, right? Sorry, before we move on from that, Dan Bourne's a good signing for them because he can play left full as well, even though he's about 6'8". He is a good player for them, and I think he's a Newcastle fan. He was at Newcastle when he was young, and he got let go. Yeah, so that's a good signing. If they have anything about them, they'll go to Liverpool and take Nat Phillips, and they'll just say, right.
Well, that's where I think Nat Phillips will end up tomorrow. But we talked about it in the last few minutes of the show, right? Kev, we've talked about Luis Diaz. We've talked about how it's gone on. We've talked about, the sports stuff, how we've been clinical and stuff like that. But just want to ask you, the way this is unfolded, it's clearly a case, and Klopp has made some comments and been quoted. It's clearly a case that Luis Diaz was part of a plan for the summer, right?
Yeah.
How confident are you now after seeing how kind of clinical Liverpool were in this deal? And I suppose the rumours of maybe Minamino and Origi could go tomorrow. How confident are you when it comes to the summer that Liverpool, he was just part of a plan, not the actual plan, if you know what I mean? Are you confident that when it comes to the summer that they go, we were going to do Luis Diaz and A and B, but now we just have to do A and B because we done Luis Diaz early? Or are you still thinking, I hope he wasn't just a one in the summer and we've just done it 6 months early and we're all going to scratch our arse for 3 months during the summer?
Yeah, no, I don't think we can afford to do that. We know that Milner's going. We know that Henderson can't do the role that the position demands for the length of a season. We know that. So we know that and Thiago's struggles playing consecutive, staying fit. We don't know what the story is with Ox and Naby, but from what I saw of Naby in the AFCON, he looked healthy, he looked fit and strong, and he was okay. Ox has been okay this season. Now, there was a name thrown out earlier on. I don't know if it was today or yesterday, but an offer went in apparently for Chuanemi. Now,
From
Keith,
Liverpool?
you were really,
Okay.
He's the
maybe
one for me.
you're really big on him.
Yeah.
So if
he's
that's the
one for me.
caliber of I mean, the thing is, we could have gone for Zakaria. Nobody in the Premier League did. Juventus did. So that tells me that they know a lot more than what we do. So I'm liking the caliber of players where the names are being thrown around. Because Diaz's name has been thrown around for a good while. Bowen is another name that's been linked around. Another name that got linked around earlier today was Yuri Tillemans.
Yeah, that was starting to gain traction as well now, isn't it? 40 million.
But is that something that's gathering traction for tomorrow or gathering traction for the summer?
It'll be for the summer.
Okay.
It'll be for the summer because he's got 12 months left in his contract.
Bellingham's the one that I would take above them all, but I think that'll be the following summer. I think Dortmund will look to get another year out with him and then sell him on. And I don't think it'll be 100 million either. I think you're probably looking between 70 and 80 million. I think Sancho went for less and Haaland will go for less. I just think...
Yeah, but Haaland go for less because of the buyout clauses in it.
Yeah, but I think the length of contract will be big.
The length of contract will be reduced by a further 12 months. And
they'll let him go next summer, Bellingham.
Yeah, they'll let him go next summer. Haaland will go for 68 million because that's what the contract says. Sancho went for 73 because his contract was a year further down the line. Bellingham will be a year further down the line. And he'll probably, I think, maybe only have 2 or 3 years left in his deal. So that's something that we'll look at. But
something that we're always jumping to the conclusion of, and I'm as guilty as anyone else, and I've literally just done it there, is we assume that they won't sell the two of them in the one summer. Why won't they? Yeah, why won't they? Because they'll reinvest it and they'll have fucking 5 players lined up to replace the two of them for half.
I genuinely wouldn't be surprised if I'd say we're about 18 to 12 to 18 months in on that Bellingham deal. Groundwork is being laid a long time.
Yeah, these deals just don't happen.
I just think the metrics with that one, it does make complete sense. And he's the one for me anyway. I said, what did I say, Gav? You said to me if you could get 2 players in the summer, I said Luis Diaz and Bellingham. We fast forwarded that one, and you know what?
But assume it was the one for you in the January if you could do it.
Yeah, and I'd still do Basuma.
He's been linked away as well now in this window.
If the off the field stuff clears up, he's not going to be short of suitors. But I think I hate the fucking generational talent shite, but genuinely I do believe that Bellingham, he's going to carry that England team for years, and I think it's made for him. I don't
know how you leave Bellingham for another year, and what I mean by that is,
well, you can't.
No, like
because
what I'm saying is,
he's so good that even though his contract's running down, his value will go up.
Yeah, because for me, when you look in the midfield in the summer, I think James Milner goes. I hope he stays in the club, but I don't think he will. I think he'll end up going and playing a year somewhere else, and maybe we can get him back because I think he's been brilliant at the club for 7 odd years or however he's been. I think it's 7, and I'm okay with that, right? I think they'll make a call on another midfielder as well, right? One of two.
I'm going to give you the unpopular. I think one of the traditional front three goes in the summer.
Yeah, but I'm just talking from a midfield sense, Johnny. Like, because I'm looking at it going...
Yeah, but I think that, and that's what's going to be the fuel for the fire for the midfield, because they will do that.
Right.
They will.
So
do that.
You think actually a forward leaving will be the trigger for bringing in a midfielder?
Not necessarily, not in the sell to buy capacity. I just think that will show you what sort of market we're in them for a midfielder. I wouldn't go near Thielman. Peter said, John in the comments there saying Zachariah and Kessie, they can't run. They can't run. They can't run.
They're sitters.
Kev's big on Zachariah.
Yeah. He's a sitter in front of a back four. Yeah. That is what he is.
He can do a mix or a centre back as well.
Thielmans can't run. No. Thielmans can't run. Hasn't got the legs.
Tielemans would be Bellingham light, I think. I think what Bellingham does is what Tielemans essentially does as well. So I think it's going to be what I would do, ideal world. I think we need, and sorry for cutting in on you lads, I think we need 2 midfield players. If we can do Bellingham, and in my show I'd say Tchouameni, that sets you up for years to come. But Tchouameni, I only say him because I think he's cheaper than Basuma. I think my argument about Basuma has always been, I think Brighton get top dollar for him, and I think there's other players that you can probably get cheaper.
The strong rumours around today that Yves Basuma could actually still go tomorrow.
Yeah, well, it wouldn't be surprised
he's been linked with Villa, but apparently when I was talking to Conan
as well.
Yeah, when I was talking to Conan last week, he said, look, Villa went in for Basuma, got quoted X amount of money, too much, and walked away from it. You know, Arsenal being linked, but Arsenal and Spurs are being linked with everyone, because Arsenal, they just seem to be running around going, you know, like,
Arsenal
what's in here? What have you got in here? And they just seem to be doing all that sort of stuff. But
I think, for me, right, one of Gravenberch and Bellingham, one of the two, I think you can build around them. I think them two lads are going to be the dominant midfielders of that generation. I haven't seen Anthony Tchouameni, but I trust judgment, because
if I said to you, Shawnee, in the summer, I can get you Bellingham and Gravenberch for about 125 million quid. Right?
I'd be asking you to send some of the class A's that you're smoking
on. No,
well, hold on a minute. Some of that Luis Diaz.
If you put Bellingham in at 80, you're definitely taking Gravenberch out of there for 45 million quid. So 125 million quid, right? And that's going to replace Milner, and let's just say an Ox or a Naby at 25 million. So it's going to cost you 100 million quid in the summer, okay, for these two players, and they're going to be on probably less money than the two that are leaving.
Right? Of course they will. Right? Milner's on a big wage.
And I said to you, we're going to do that on the 4th of July, and we're not going to do a fucking tap after that. Are you taking it?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
100%. Because Gav, it's not about like, again, it's not about quantity. It's not. It's about getting the right player. So what we've done now with this Diaz thing is we've actually given ourselves leg room in the summer, because none of us expected Anton to come in this window.
Yeah.
We even thought if we sold the couple, we wouldn't get one in. You know what I mean? We've pushed forward on the Diaz now. So you have your summer now to go, right, I might pick up in the ilk of a Simicast somebody to cover Trent, and you can go one midfielder, right? You can go one midfielder if you're keeping Ox and Keita, which could happen. which could happen. But if you're letting either Oxford or Keita go and Milner's out, that means wherever money you have, you go big on your one midfielder. You get like someone like a supporting cast, someone else to go in there, and again, you just need someone of that ilk to cover Trent, because I think that is one of those areas that will niggle, and it'd be nice to take Trent out every now and again, but I think it could come down to one of the front three, because I think Mouse wins. All right, so we'll discount we'll count him out, right?
Well, I think no matter who you fucking sign, if you don't get his deal done, you're like, what the fuck, yeah.
I'd imagine Bobby strikes me as the type of bloke who might hang around on less money, do a year extension, but Bobby could easily go to Barcelona.
Well, the way they're signing players, yeah.
And then Mane, I do think there will be clubs who would take Mane, obviously, because he's ripping her up at the AFCON. You know, we've kind of gotten used to it. So I think the club, they will be smart. But the wheels are starting to turn now, Gav. We used to this is going from a rebuild to just a refresh, and I think that's good, because rebuilds are never good, but a refresh is always good if you get.
If we sell
a soft reset, so we'll basically have Diaz 6 months experience ready to start next year, and then you're bringing in whoever, say for argument's sake, a Gravenberch or a Bellingham. And
but if you sell Sadio Mane, you need to buy yourself another forward, because Minamino is being heavily linked with a move away.
You won't, because what they'll do is this is where the natural progression will come in, and they will probably trust Kate Gordon then, or this Carvalho lad coming in who can play across the front three, and this is what they'll look at.
Yeah, maybe so, because I'm still on the argument of letting one of Mane or Firmino run their contract down and extending one of them by a year to give yourself a bit of breathing room, because Minamino's being linked heavily away to Leeds, and I think Origi will be. I think you might see a couple of bids come in for Origi tomorrow, and I've no issue with that, because if you said to me, Origi or Minamino leaves the club and you bring in Luis Diaz, I'm all for it, because it's still the same numbers and it's more quality and it's more reliability and it's more trust. Siam Gosh says, Chouameni is excellent, very unique, one of its kind. We don't have too many top central midfielders in the world. He can play alongside and also replace Fabinho in the future.
And he's fast as well. His fucker is fast.
Yeah, so
let's big long legs, gets into the tackles. He's a cracking player.
Let's move on to what we might see tomorrow regarding Liverpool, and what we might see regarding the Premier League as well, right? So
to be alive.
Kev, Carvalho from Fulham, out of contract in the summer. Liverpool supposedly in with a £5 million bid. Okay. Talk is that they could loan him back, they may not. But I feel like this one, Kev, is a case of Liverpool going, we'll take him now, but we won't take him in the summer. And if they don't, he'll go on to the continent, i.e. Dortmund, for free. Yeah. So Fulham are a little bit snookered here, but may get the little sweetener of the loan for 6 months. And as Seany has said there, he may be someone that comes in and you say, we'll take him as a Minamino replacement in the squad, and Kay Gordon could come in as an Origi replacement in the squad, and you keep as is. But what do you make of this player, Kev? Because he's been at Fulham a little while now. He is highly rated, and to see him with 6 months left on his Fulham deal is a little bit surprising, considering how highly rated he is.
Yeah, the only bits I've seen of him, I haven't watched much of him in the Championship, apart from the clips that everyone else has seen. And he reminds me an awful lot of what Harvey Elliott offers you in the midfield three. I don't think he's quick enough to play as a front three player, but he could, between him and Harvey Elliott, could end up pushing each other for a starting spot in a midfield three with more experienced players around them. For the money, it's nothing. It's a free hit. It's win-win for everyone around, for us and for the player. If he kicks on like everyone says he's going to, in 5 years' time, you're going to be talking about a player who's worth 50-60 million quid. You know, and that's the hope. But that's an awful lot of ifs, buts, and maybes have to go right. I think the idea of loaning him back to Fulham makes complete sense. He's settled in London. You don't want to be moving cities at that age unless you're going to be coming into a squad to play, which he won't be. So leave him in London. Let him get promoted. Come back into Liverpool in a fresh start pre-season, and then he'll start the learning process for next year. What you guys were on about earlier on with about who's going to sit, which forwards are going to stay and go and what have you. You got to remember next season is going to be a really long, extended season with a hell of a lot of football. So I wouldn't like to see anyone leaving from our forward line whatsoever. And if it means the players leave for nothing, then they leave for nothing. Because by the time you've got an early start to the season, you've got a World Cup, you've got an extended season that runs into the end of May. That's an awful lot of football to be played. And if we want to be challenging to win honours, you need 5 forwards. And this January proved that. We got away with one this January because we're so heavily over dependent on Mo and Sadio and Jota and Bobby that we were hoping. Remember in December, we were all sat here hoping and praying that Ox and Taki would do something and get us over the hump in January, and then they'll all be back in February, and then we can go again. Where if you've got 5 top quality forwards that you can rotate over that long season, it makes absolutely no sense to break that up. None. There's no valid reason to do it. If anything, you reduce the age in midfield by adding a couple of players of quality. But the midfield isn't as broke as what people think, because we've missed Elliott for long periods of time this season. He's going to be a year further down the line. He's going to be that bit better. I don't think it's major surgery. It's probably 1 or 2 players that need to come in to reduce the age, improve the quality, but it's not drastic. The Diaz signing gives so many different options. Like Keith was saying about the about wage negotiations and contract negotiations that are to come. That gives you an awful lot of strength, and it gives an awful lot of pulling power as well to the manager and to the club. Say, look, he's one of the brightest young prospects, and he wanted to come here. So why? What's your excuse?
Well, Dave Maddock is reporting, according to Owen Conway, that the Carvalho deal is off. Fulham refusing to do business with Liverpool due to a bad relationship over Harvey Elliott deal. Liverpool sold Harry Wilson to Spurs to Fulham. So I don't know how bad the relationship is.
We didn't even sell Harvey Elliott or what's his name, Harry Wilson to Fulham, because we haven't received a fee yet. We gave them Wilson on 12 months grace that they're going to pay us this summer.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know how bad that relationship can be.
Yeah, I think the relationship is all right. But listen, Owen Conway says, look, it's Kevin Ball said, Owen, it's the Mirror reporting you, mate. We literally let them off paying Wilson straight away. And in fairness, Owen Conway says, look, he's only reporting there what has been said by Dave Maddock. So,
yeah,
Shawnee,
for sure.
Fabio Carvalho, what do you know of him? And if they bring him in, say now, or loan until the end of the season, what do you see from at Liverpool? Is it just an opportunistic thing for Liverpool, like Kev says, where you get him for 5, you bring him in, he does a year. If it doesn't work, you probably get 10 or 15 off him. And if it does work, great. It only costs us 5 and we're flying. What do you think of him?
No, this is Harvey Elliott who point out. This is a young fella who can go to the top. And this is coming from Fulham fans. And the thing is, Gav, the talk is, if we don't get him now, he's going to go to Dortmund. And what happens when them young lads go to Dortmund?
Yeah.
Straight into the team. Champions League football.
2 or 3 years down the line, you have teams all over Europe clawing to get him. So Liverpool seem to be looking at trying to claw out the middleman there and just getting something done. I can see it being done because Fulham refusing to do business with Liverpool is just cutting your nose off to spite your face, because it's a lose-lose for them, really, and we're actually kind of giving them a break if what we're led to believe is he will sign and he'll stay there for another 6 months. Now, look, they look all but promoted. Let's be honest, the Championship is a mad league, but they are flying.
Yeah.
And they will want him for the last 6 months of the season, because he's been one of key performance
Being
this year
neutral.
in terms
Yeah.
of goals and assists. So he's
7
doing
goals in 16 games in the
So-
championship. That's unreal.
From what I heard as well, this lad has already been walked around Kirby with his mum and dad, and he's been sold the vision of exactly what's going to happen. So, I can't see it just being, I can't see that. No, we're not doing business with you. It makes really no odds to Fulham with how it looks like we're trying to do this deal. The only thing is they're gonna make money because, like Keith says, it won't go to Tribunal if he goes to Dortmund because he's leaving. He's going on to the continent, and there's clubs queuing up. But it seems to be the case of what Liverpool do again when they get into a player's ear. It's kind of, I want to go there, a la a Virgil. We're seeing it now with Diaz. I want to go there, and I want to go there only. Sort of
Ox
thing.
as well.
Ox as well.
Ox turned down Chelsea.
And from what we're led to believe, that's apparently what's going on with Bellingham. That Bellingham has his heart set on Liverpool.
Yeah.
Now, we'll see, but like you can't turn like football isn't like that. Like businessmen, these are businessmen. They're not as petty as muppets like us or people on Twitter. They're not turning around going, I'm not fucking doing business with him. They don't walk like that.
No,
because they just
especially when you have a player in a side that you've given him a year's grace to pay for him. I think it was about 12 million quid. I think, and Liverpool could literally turn and go, listen, I'll tell you what, you owe us 12. Tell you what, keep your player till the summer and give us 6, and we call it quits. And
and that's
Grant.
it. Like, and that's it. I mean, you won't have to go to court. You won't have to spend fucking days in court going through tribunals trying to quantify how much a player is worth you. We'll just get it done now. You win, I win, shake hands and walk off. You'll see it in the Premier League next year.
Yeah.
And like, I think that's like, don't read too much into any of that because from what I've gathered now, right? Poor old Jim Pearce, he got hung out to dry today because whoever told him they were going to announce Diaz tomorrow, he said, not there for a Monday announcement. And before he could even press bleed send on the tweet, they were lashing up pictures of this fella in the Liverpool game.
Yeah.
So it would seem that nobody knows that anymore, and it's never been more true. But what I will say is, these deals seem to be way further down the line when journals are starting to feed it out.
Yeah, that's the key.
And I honestly believe, not from any inside information because I don't have any, and nobody has any. Let me tell you that now. Nobody does. I'd say it's just a medical tomorrow. Get them done, announce them. We'll see you next summer, kid. Enjoy the rest of your year in the championship.
Yeah, because Fulham keep him. They don't lose a player. They've reduced the fee on Harry Wilson, essentially. They know they're going to lose this player in the summer. But the whole thing around it is, forget the player and the contract and whatever. They are getting a player that's going to realistically shoot them to the Premier League, which is 150 million quid. Right? Yeah. And what would it cost them? 10 million in the championship, where you go 10 million in the championship, get you a really fucking good player to shoot you up there. They can spend 25, 30, and it's exactly the same because of what you have coming in. Now they're a fairly well off club, Fulham, but listen, nobody's turning their nose up at 150 million quid and rocking up to the Premier League, and 35, 40 million is literally having the same impact on you as a £10 million signing in the championship. It makes no sense. Reclaimer says we are 3 likes away from 400, and when we hit 400, he's going to tell you to keep going till you get to 5. He's absolutely relentless.
I like his plan.
I love him. As soon as that hits 400, he's going to go, listen, he's on 99 away from 5. So keep going. Norman says LFC Daytrippers best fan show there is, and Mark I think earlier said brilliant show, like listening to 4 mates in a pub. We talk complete bollocks in the pub, I'm going to be honest with you. But
we talk bollocks here as well. So
we do, but it's much more bollocks when we're face to face in the pub, let's be honest. I'd be out smoking most of the time, I don't even talk to them. So that's Carvalho. Let's look at what might go out. And Kev, I'll come to you first. We've talked about Luis Diaz in. It looks like if Carvalho comes in, he's loaned.
Yeah.
So what's the chances of one or both of Origi and Minamino going tomorrow? Because I think there's a little bit of a risk in doing both.
No, I think one goes. I think logistically getting Taki out the door tomorrow is difficult. Unless you're a very trusting club and you have a very trusting insurance company who are willing to insure a player on the say-so of another club who will have to do the medical on your behalf. I think Taki would be a difficult one. Divock, more realistic, assuming he's fit enough to pass the medical. We still don't know. I have no idea if he's trained
tonight, by the way.
Yeah. Burnley, we thought were in for Weghorst.
Yes.
And Orsic.
Orsic from Belgrade, wasn't it?
It was Zagreb.
Zagreb, sorry.
Yeah, and I don't know if those two are done. It would make sense if those two get done. Divock Origi to Burnley would also make sense. It's close enough. He doesn't have to move house or anything like that. And it makes sense. The only one I can think of, I don't see Taki going. I just don't. I'd be amazed if he went, because it is a gamble. You're not really. There's no need to sell both. We already had the space in the squad from the Shaqiri sale to bring in Diaz. The only one that I was expecting to be gone by now is Nat. I honestly thought Nat Phillips would have gone by now. But other things have gone in motion today that could trigger that to happen tomorrow, whether he goes south to Brighton or joins Dan Burn at Newcastle. I don't know. I hope not. I hope he goes to Brighton. Because I think under Graham Potter he could do well.
Yeah, Matt Hayes, Tottenham blog says Mislav Orsic deal is off. Weghorst is at the medical stage with Burnley.
Yeah, he was at the training ground yesterday.
He's
6'6". Yeah,
6'6". He's done well.
He was linked with us, and they said he was a good fit for us because he's a high presser. You wouldn't expect that from a fella who's 6'6".
Very technical as well.
Forward. Yeah, he's very good technical.
I watched him for Holland in the.
Is it the old classic
of Nations League?
He's good for he's good with his feet.
For a big man.
Yeah,
yeah. He'd be ideal for Burnley, and he's better than Wood. He's much better than Chris Wood. I'd be amazed if I was surprised the Orsic deal didn't happen because. He's not a young kid. I think he's 29. He might be older than that, 29, 30. But he's rapid and he's very good at whipping crosses in. But he's left-sided. So whether it's a case they already have that boxed off or something else happened, I don't know. But I think there's going to be an awful lot of moving tomorrow. A hell of a lot.
I think
it's very apt that Weghorst sounds like a Blaine Lord of the Rings character and he's going to play a Mordor.
And his name sounds like
every time I see his name, I just think of Martin Weghorst that played at Celtic. Do you remember the Danish guy?
Yeah.
I always think of Martin Weghorst. Shawnee, Minamino, Origi, Nat Phillips, Nico Williams being linked, apparently cutting short a holiday to come back and maybe look at a loan move. Kev has his head in his hands here for some reason.
Kev watching the Chiefs.
I can't believe what I'm seeing because
go on, tell us what you're saying.
Right, I put this game on before I came out, and I think it was 21-3
to the Chiefs.
Yeah.
Cincinnati are 24-21.
Lovely.
Did they stop him?
24-21.
No, he fumbled. He went back yards. 4-2. It's gone back. And he fumbled. Now he recovered the fumble.
Right
now,
33.
Ray Dickinson's heart will be in it.
Ray Dicko is a massive Bengals fan. Are we in the last minute? Like
we're literally in the last 3 seconds.
It'll go to Blade in overtime, so the flip of a coin will determine.
No, hold on. What score is it?
Again.
24-21 to the Bengals.
But the Chiefs are kicking now for a draw.
Chiefs are kicking for a draw.
2 seconds left.
Mahomes will get hold of that in overtime. That'll be the end of it. Once he wins.
Well, Mahomes had it there. They haven't scored since the second quarter.
They're set, snapped, kick. Kick is good.
Okay. Good stuff. So, into overtime in the Bengals and the Chiefs. So I'm going to watch the other one later. Is it the LA Rams? Against
the Rams
against Matt Roberts.
Mad.
San Francisco 49ers.
Is he still a 49ers
Yeah,
fan? Is he?
yeah. He was the first name he could think of when he decided to follow the boys about a year and a half ago. And remember, he decided to support them, and he nearly won the fucking Super Bowl. And everyone in the WhatsApp group was like, "Oh, for fuck's sake! If the 49ers win this, we never hear the end of it."
Before we go, I want you to do two things. I want you to light a candle for Ray Dickinson going into overtime here.
For the Bengals.
And I want you to light a candle for poor Vinny O'Connor, who has to work on the last day of January for the first time in about 8 years.
Yeah.
He's up with $1.
Yeah.
He had dinner booked with the missus and he's to go out and all now. He's getting it in the air.
About 20 past 4 tomorrow, Ian Earl turn up on his motorbike and knock the lights off at Kirby. And Vinny will be going mad. Is it still Vinny that does be down there, yeah?
Well, he doesn't be there anymore, yeah. No. Vinny usually expects the day off or he'd be out.
Yeah, that's because someone...
Finch Farm.
Was it him
that... don't send anyone down there anymore since Dildo Gate.
Yeah, since he stuck a dildo in his... I was going to say somewhere else, but in his ear. He stuck it in his ear. But look, Seany, I'm coming back to you. What do you think happens tomorrow, ins and outs Liverpool?
I don't see Origi going.
Okay.
I just don't. He hasn't been fit. I don't think. Would he even pass a medical? I don't know.
True.
Minamino went on the last day last year out of nowhere, didn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Low. Southampton.
Oh, I can see. I could see Minamino at Leeds, maybe. I could see Minamino at Leeds.
Good signing for them.
I'm with Kev. I don't think both of them go. Nico Williams, I don't think he goes. I don't think so. But I do think he could be sold. Think he could be sold in the summer. Yeah. Definitely.
Yeah. If we have our eye on someone else.
Yeah.
No, I think no matter what, he'll be facilitated out the door in the summertime because you don't want to have that reputation as blocking players.
Yeah.
Because that's a big no-no if you want to attract younger talent to a club. That if it doesn't work out, you can't keep them for endless amount of time as well.
Chiefs won that toss. Fucking stupid rules in this game. Sorry.
Yeah, Chiefs have won the toss. Kansas City Chiefs.
They need a touchdown though. They
on the first drive. Yeah.
If they don't get a touchdown on the first drive, what happens?
They play on. Then they go to the fourth overtime.
Okay, first touchdown or field goal.
No.
It's fumble.
Kev, I'm so bleeding far behind Dan Marino's doing commentary. Will you believe
Seany's on Madden 2003 here.
John Sims got the ball. The fridge tackled him there.
I have to clear this up. Jono says Ray Dicko was a fraud. He was a Giants fan. Now he's a Bengal fan. Not having that. That is so far from the truth. What you're thinking of is when I decided to start watching NFL about 2 years ago, because I had no interest, but a lot of the boys watched this, so I said, "Hey, I'll give it a bash." I said, "Who should I support?" Ray Dicko says, "Try the Giants. I think they might come good in the next couple of years." That's where you're getting that from. Ray Dicko is a Bengals fan for years and years and years, and they've been absolutely malodging throughout the vast majority of that time. And we're praying to God the Bengals win tonight, because I swear to God, I think I might even go out.
Win, like, we're going out for the Super Bowl.
I was going to say, I'll go out for the Super Bowl. If the Bengals get to it, I'll go to it. I'll go out that night.
It's going to be like the hangover if they win the Super Bowl. He's looking at his phone the next morning. He's going to be up from a farm and my boy
Ray Dicko with a fucking tiger on a lead walking down Grattan Street at 6 in the morning.
On the statue of Phil in his shoulders at 4 o'clock in the morning. Not a clue what's going on.
Exactly. Shawnee stream is on Teletext, said Red Steve. But Keith, I'll come to you before we finish up. Ins or outs, Liverpool, what do you reckon?
I reckon Taki goes tomorrow. For the same reason Shawnee said, I don't think Divock will pass a medical. I think Nat Phillips goes. I don't think Nico Williams goes. He will go in the summer. I think we should replace him in the summer and anyway. And I'm hoping it's not Connor Bradley, and that's no disrespect to the young lad. It's just it heaps pressure onto Trent that he's not going to be able to rest. So I think they need to bring in a player there. But I think Minamino will go because it's the easiest one to do. I think he's a great fit for Leeds, for what Bielsa wants. I think he's a very energetic player. I think he could do a good job for them. So I see him going. I see Nat going. Now, whether Kev said, I think Kev is right, either Burnley, Burnley. Brighton to replace Dan Burn, or Newcastle to play alongside Dan Burn. And I said to Kendall the other night that I think it's a dodgy one to go to Newcastle, because in a year and a half he could find himself 5th or 6th in the pecking order there if they start bringing in these big names all over the place.
And looking for a club when he hasn't got as much exposure as I suppose he has.
Exactly. This is strike while the iron is hot and heel. You know, he's on the back
Make the
of
right move for yourself now.
And set yourself up. And if that means you drop down, not a level, like I'm not saying drop down the league, but you go to a Brighton who are not as glamorous as Newcastle would be, and the money isn't there and the excitement and all that. You do that, and and I hope he does. I hope he picks the right move for himself. So I think them two go well. I think Carvalho gets done. I think, I don't know, with Seany, yourself, or Kev said it, the fact that the journalists are all coming out and talking about this now, literally they only come out when something is about to be done. And I think that one is more or less going to be signed, sealed, and delivered tomorrow.
I think it doesn't. If Minamino was to go tomorrow, I understand Kev's point about the logistics of it. He's playing with Japan, but I don't know how much information can be got from Leeds to say, right, it's all good to go. Kev, what's wrong, Kev?
Batting.
Okay. Who has the ball, Kev?
Mahomes has a. They're on 3rd and 10 on mine, and he missed the throw.
Okay. All right.
Intercepted.
So listen, we're going to wrap this up. I think Minamino does go tomorrow. I think if Origi goes, I think they might look to bring Carvalho in and not do the loan. I think they won't drop their numbers. I think Phillips will go. I don't know where. And I don't know about Nico Williams. I think that he might stay unless Liverpool have something lined up or are willing to back themselves in a squad without Nico Williams being in it. There's nearly 1,000 people watching tonight, which is absolutely fantastic.
Lovely.
There's 459 likes. That brilliant 460. Stuff. 460, brilliant stuff. But the reclaimer is fucking disgusted with you all. I have to be honest. All of you that hasn't hit the like button. It's been another really good week of shows. We will be back tomorrow with the COP update, and that will be Monday to Friday, and we'll update you tomorrow then on what we have for the rest of the week. But with there being no football, we're definitely going to do a transfer window thing tomorrow night, and then we'll probably throw a quiz or a draft or something in there during the week as well. We'll try bringing as many as we can during the evenings, but the days will definitely be me talking about Liverpool at 2 p.m. Féileacáin is our charity. Make sure you have to check them out in the description. You can see their website as to what they do, and you can also see the link to the donate page, which you can go and do that as well. We would much prefer if you went and hit that instead of the super chat, genuinely. Yeah. And if you want to hit lfcdt.com, on the very front page of our website, you will see again the link to Féileacáin's website, and you will also see the link to the donate page. We nearly have the whole golf day sponsored now, and people have committed their money to it. We just have to collect it. The players, 32 of them, are all signed up. We're just waiting on payment for them, but like literally we have a waiting list. If anyone pulls out, we have a waiting list, which is absolutely fine. And more people want to get involved and help out and have a drink with us on that day as well. So that's going really, really well. Before you hit the donate link, go in and look at what they're doing. And I can tell you, I spoke to somebody that's involved with Féileacáin the other day. I'm not going to say who he is, and I'm not going to say where he was, but I listened to this guy. I actually listened to 2 voicemails from him with regards to what he does for them, what he try to do on a daily, weekly, and monthly basis. And genuinely, I must have sat for 5 or 10 minutes afterwards before I replied to him, because it blew my mind what these people do, and how they look out for each other, and how much effort they put in to helping parents that have been bereaved during pregnancy or just afterwards. So please go and help her out. Please go and donate. And if you can't, that's absolutely fine, but share it wherever you can. You know, if you got a video that was really funny, you can guarantee you'll send it to everyone, because you'll know that's a bit of crack. This is a brilliant charity. Go and check it out. Okay. That has been the Fatback 4 for tonight. An amazing amount of people watching. Thanks to Seany. Thanks to Keith, thanks to Kev. You will see all 4 of us at some stage during this week. The boys are watching the American football. They're trying to hold a straight face.
Why don't we do a watch along for the rest of it? We're on 479 likes here. So
if we get us to 500 likes and we watch the rest of the Bengals, what's going on? What's going on, Kev?
The Bengals have got Randas play. They're up to probably three yards. Yeah, 2nd and 3. So they're just running the ball, trying to get into field goal range, and they're getting close.
So do the Bengals only need a field goal
Yeah, the Bengals only need a field goal.
after the other fellas needed a touchdown because they got the
Well,
first toss?
Yeah,
Because they got,
they
yeah,
didn't
they
need
got
the
the
first.
first.
That would have just not given.
Okay.
The
Seany's
Bengals
muted himself. He's getting very excited and he's looking at me going, just stop this podcast. We got stuff to do. He's rubbing his chin. He's fucking all over. His eyes are all over the place.
the Dicko Bowl. This is the Dicko Bowl.
was crawling the walls.
Yeah.
I'd say there's
They
not
made
enough
it.
means in the world.
Yeah,
Right.
they made it. 1st and 10.
How many
Well
yards
within
away?
field goal range.
Game, they're in.
They're
They're
in.
in.
Right.
Super Bowl,
They're in.
baby.
Yeah,
They're in the
in
Super
field
Bowl
goal
final?
range.
Yeah.
Oh my God, amazing. Well done to Dicko. Fair play, Dicko, for going the Bengals to the...
They're in field goal range.
Good stuff.
I don't know how far behind I am. So
Right. Yeah, a little bit behind because Jono says Bengals, the freaking Bengals are going to the Super Bowl. Ha 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 ha. 18 more likes, people from Cav Oldham for 500. Listen,
they were the bottom ranked side going into this as well.
we're going. Jay Whelan says, fuck you, I've turned the NFL on. We'll have everyone watching the NFL. But listen, don't worry about the likes. On your way out, hit the like button if you haven't already. Subscribe if you haven't already. Share if you haven't already. And most of all, keep turning up for these shows. Put your notifications on. Keep turning up because when you turn up, we turn up and we have a lovely, lovely time. We're out of here. Good luck. Over now.